Alright, welcome to Artist Statement for Project 2. For what I did for this project, I wanted to make an abstraction using only mathematical values and expressions based on an audio waveform. When I wanted to do something completely different from my final project, which is a frame-by-frame traditional animation. So the idea behind this project was to create something that is absolutely done in the computer with very little interference on my part, which I still had to. But, for the most part, it was basically what can I do with After Effects using only After Effects and only the plugins that are there. And I kind of, branched out a little bit from there, but I kind of stated my idea. So what I did, before I even got started in After Effects, I had to find an artist I liked, an electronic artist or whatever sort of track I wanted to use. And I was lazy, I didn't make my own track, I basically cut another guy's songs together, Amon Tobin, which I just kind of discovered him recently and I like him. And I cut 3 or 4 of his songs together and played with the audio value as well as whether or not it went to the left or the right speaker, because I was going to use that later in the project as well. So now once I have this waveform, which is the basis for my animation, all these values that go up and down are going to drive what is produced on the screen. So now that I have that, I exported it, brought it into After Effects, and then I keyframed the audio. Well, basically what you do, first I added an effect where I could manipulate the treble and the bass values to make the treble higher than the bass and then the bass higher than the treble respectively as I parented them out. When you take an audio waveform or take an audio, throw it into After Effects, you can right click on the audio, go to Keyframe Assistant, and then do Convert to Audio Keyframes. And what that does, it will take your entire waveform and create these two nifty it'll create a null object. And I did it twice with the effect, respectively, changing the values to make the bass higher than the treble or the treble higher than the bass. And you get these two boxes that basically hold all your mathematical values from the waveform. And they don't move like that until you put some nifty expressions on your values, because these basically all represents keyframes, just tons and tons of keyframes. They go up and down, up and down, up and down. I then added some expressions on these values to make it move up and down. So this basically means, well, I don't really remember what it means. It has to do with, like, if the value is 3, it changes to 30. If the value is 0, it changes to 120. And I can't really explain it more than that because I don't entirely understand why it is the way it is. And the other expression I did was to change the position, and honestly I don't remember what that expression means either. I basically sat through a huge long tutorial about expressions and it created an animated waveform using particular. Well, I don't have particular, I'm just using what I have, and I just wanted to affect the producer of whatever effects I happen to lay down. Anyway, now after I got that huge confusing thing out of the way, I have these nifty little values that represent my audio waveform. From there, I created a solid and added particular world to it. And then once I had particular world on there, I parented the producer right here, the X, Y, and Z producer, to the slider of the value I wanted it to produce to, right here. So that means that these values that I made from the waveform are driving the animation of the particles. So ideally, the particles are going to appear in the manner that would reflect the music. And so I did, like, this is the bass, and this is treble. And I got this nifty little animation here. And then from there I kind of played with adding an effect on the particles and then changing the particles to different shapes, whether they're cubes or, I don't know, spheres. and also whether or not they exploded outward. So it's just playing a lot with the physics and then the type of animation. And then I had that first movie. Well, that's not the end of it. From there, I basically did the same thing with the values again, but I did it for the left and right channels. I exported my audio keyframes, and then I only used a right channel and left channel, and I parented animations again. Well, this is only just a black and white matte. I didn't want to have more particles on top of it. This is to kind of, especially if you're wearing headphones, you get the full effect of there's something going on in the left channel there and then the right channel. And this here is just a burn, and the waves you see here, it's actually a 3D wave simulation. So I have these two videos, one based on left and right channels where it's just black and white matte, and then the other one where it's particles. I rendered the two videos out, and then I put them into Premiere because After Effects on my computer takes a long time to render out, and it is just easier to put it in Premiere. From there, I just overlaid the two videos, as you see here, to get the final effect. And then a couple places where I wanted it to hit a little harder, and for whatever reason After Effects didn't interpret the values to hit where I'd want them to, I would just cut and put some more particles on top in order to get the full effect. Like you saw there. Create a couple quick cuts, and then I have the final project, and that's what you'll see in the link below this artist statement. Thank you so much for watching. Any other questions, feel free to ask me. I may be able to answer them, I may not, because I don't really understand what I created. But, for the most part, yes, it's pretty awesome. Thank you.